10 degree first, not 10 degree. But I'm going to do a little test today to try and help you understand how the loft on your driver, whatever loft you come out with, can seriously affect your fittings when it comes to buying new drivers. It can seriously affect also how you swing. What I've seen over the years of testing and coaching and fitting is loft is something that's so dialed into players' launch characteristics, which makes sense as well, but it's not been used enough to understand and help people develop better movement patterns, to generate more speed, to improve their swings. I'm going to show you today a mistake that I see just made over and over and over again in fittings, and when people come for lessons, I just think, how have you ended up with that loft? And they don't know that there's huge opportunities out there for golfers to gain yards and to hit more fairways, or certainly to hit the ball more in play, while developing their action around a loft that might need to develop with you. Welcome to the video, I'm Mark Crossfield. If you're not already subscribed here, hit the subscribe button down there if you want more fun golf videos, it's free. And hit the thumbs up button if this video helps you. Just if you watch this video and you find it helps you and you like the info, give me a thumbs up so I know to produce more of them. Right, I'm using this Cobra driver for this test. It's not my driver, but it's one that I can move near my max speeds. But I can go from 9 degrees up to 12 on the neck fitting. So I'm going to hit a batch of shots at 9, talk about what I feel. I'm going to hit a batch of shots at 12 degrees. We'll show you the numbers. I'm sure you'll know what you're going to see from the numbers. And then I'll show you 2 swings on Swing Catalyst, and I'll show you how different it is with how I swing in the ground. Something that you couldn't really measure before I had my 3D force plate, basically. And what I'm going to do as I hit these shots is I'm going to try and match. So I'm going to try and make the 12 do what the 9 does. So the 9 here is much closer to my number. It allows me to swing how I want to swing more. When I put it down by the ball, it makes sense. It's dialing into everything I feel like I'm going to do in my swing, basically. So I'm finding target relatively easy. I'm not swinging at my fastest yet. I feel like everything in setup, grip, to their movement can just be what I want it to be. So I'm not feeling like I'm having to manipulate anything. Could do with striking it. It feels comfortable, like it's in a position I want it. So I've cranked it up to 12 now. So I'm going to hit another batch of shots, and what I'm going to do is try and match this loft to what my functional loft with this club originally was. So I'm going to move my delivery to sync up those lofts, and we'll show you what sacrifice that is to my golf swing and in turn resulting distance. So down by the ball it looks the same. It definitely shows more of the face to me. Set up, ball position the same, but I am going to feel like I'm getting across more. I'm going to try and take the loft off while still trying to hit it as hard as I was hitting the other one. And that loft's in place. That's a 17 degree delivered, I think, loft. It's not taking me any time to try and deliver that loft. Like, it makes a lot of sense. It's, what are we talking? 3 degrees. I'm literally trying to move myself to change that loft by 3 degrees. And you'll be amazed at how students do so easily adapt to what club's in front of them. The same way you all adapt to loft, because you don't swing a long iron. Let's say you've got a 4 iron in your bag, the same as you swing a 9 iron. You'll have different angle of attack. You'll deliver different lofts from the starting position. So obviously you'll deliver different lofts, but you're going to manipulate the loft from static to impact with both of those clubs very differently, because humans are really good at trying to work it out. Like, they're really good. It might not always be functional, but they're good at trying to make something work. I feel like I could hit target all day with this. And loft is in place, but I am sacrificing one other thing. A couple more shots, then we'll show you the data, and then I'll show you how different my swing is and what I'm losing to match these up. Oh, line ball. That's a line ball. Go on. Oh, oh, it's just missed. So ball speeds are different, I'd expect that. Launch angle less than a degree different. Spin is different, again I would expect that. And then resulting carry very, very different. Look at the dispersion of the two. I did feel like I could hit that 12 degree dead straight. Now watch this. So 2 mile an hour club head speed is being lost. Strike's very similar. Loft is being matched by less than 0.3 of a degree difference. I've matched the lofts, but in doing so, I just cannot get the 12 degree to the speed of the 9 degree. Efficiency the same. Think about that. It's the same head, it's the same shaft. I've literally just moved it round on the neck. It is the same club, but I am not able to get it within 2 mile an hour of club head speed. I am sacrificing 2 mile an hour club head speed because the loft isn't in the right place. So loft being married to just launch characteristics, where that has a great purpose and can really help, and some people don't want to change, it works. For lots of people, certainly the ones who maybe are watching this video who want to improve, which is probably why you're watching this, you could also see how loft can be so limiting if it doesn't work into your delivery patterns. Think about my delivery. Angle of attack, 4.8 up, has to go to 2 up. I'm losing my angle of attack between the two clubs to try and match my launch characteristics. I'm able to control path and face while changing these two. I'll be honest with you, most students can't, as in like your average golfer. As soon as you change angle of attack, you're changing path because it changes swing direction. Let's capture a couple on Swing Catalyst and I'll show you exactly how different it is, and you'll see where that power is being lost, and you'll see maybe how next time you're thinking of a driver, in my opinion, I've said this for a long time, going and seeing someone who coaches can often be so much more powerful than maybe someone who just fits. This is a grey area that I've talked about for a long time, and it's something I strongly believe in. So 9 degree to kick us off. Hit that decent, got that one captured. Now moving it back up into the 12. Remember, this is the exact same club. It's just I've twisted the neck around. We saw 2 mile an hour difference, same shaft, same everything, just different loft. There we go. Let's show you those two. The difference is remarkable. So this is my 12 degree driver, and you can see the club head speed comes out at 108. We just compare that to the 9. You can see it jumps to the 110. There's that 2 mile an hour. Where's it being lost? So the noticeable differences in these two actions when you change loft is the freedom it gives me in the ground. Look at my pressure here, max weight and force, 260% I get to in my vertical, which is one of my main power sources. So you give me an appropriate loft, I peak my vertical at 260%, I peak it at a nice time, nice and early, and you can see I get it all out nearly as I get down to the ball. Nice big drop off on the horizontal as well, and you can see the purple line here, it's before impact. I'm late with this always, but that's early for me with the right loft. So you can see this is impact, this line. You can see the big mountain drop off is before impact. So I've put the brakes on going that way, I'm actually going that way, and I'm going up. So 260% with the 9 on my vertical, which is one of my main power sources. So it comes down to 211 here with the 12 degrees in the vertical. Similar timing of the vertical, even though it is a little later getting out, it just crosses over the impact. But I'm losing vertical force because I'm spending more time. If we go to my pressure readings, so impact, I'm 86% onto my lead side with the 12 degrees compared to 66% lead side with the 9 degree. You change the loft, you completely change how I try and use the floor, and then in turn how I'm pushing and sliding and twisting and turning with my body. So what you're doing is you're taking away from my vertical, which is one of my main power sources, which is why I lose 2 mile an hour club head speed. So let's think of some of the patterns that we see with golfers who uses 12 degree drivers. Well, generally people who hit maybe a long way down at the ball and don't quite get the ball up in the air as much as they want. They might be given a higher lofted driver. You also got the people with closed faces where they're taking loft off. I get why they have higher lofted drivers. You'll see that on tour and some of the best players in the world. I've seen 13, 12 degree drivers because they're such de-lofters in the angles they put in. So like I said at the start, there's a reason for changing loft around, which is really good for some people. But on average, I would say more people have got lofts dialed into some pretty crazy deliveries that could be changed. Like I'm doing that very easily because I'm reacting to the loft. So I'm that golfer hitting 4 to 6 down, so I go for the higher lofted driver. Well, why would you ever hit up now? Why would you ever now try and get in that club lower and try and hit up? You could see what I did. What I did to try and control the 12 degrees of loft is I went more this way and I took out 2 degrees of upward hit. So I took out 2 degrees of upward hit and 2 mile an hour club head speed, which is why you could see such a massive result in loss in distance. So when I was teaching full time and you got people who were hitting a long way down at the ball, I used to have clubs 7, 8 degree drivers, and I would give them those clubs and ask them to try and get the ball up in the air. Because often for students, like I said earlier again, you give them enough goes and you persuade enough answers, they find them. And that's the best way to learn. The best way to learn is letting that student find those answers for themselves. You just are persuading them to look maybe in the right boxes or down the right roads. Like, why don't you try this 9 degree driver? Well, I use a 12, yeah, but try the 9. Oh, yeah, look, see how low it goes. Now I want you to try a 9, and I want you to try and hit it. Imagine you're hitting it over a tree. Bang, they hit one. They naturally shift the ball position. They naturally start tilting. They naturally start then driving differently off the ground. And it's like, whoa, hang on, where did that come from? You've just hit 2 up at that. That's a 6 degree difference, and all I've done is change the loft, and then in turn, the agenda of what you're trying to do. You give me plenty of loft, I use a swing that actually tries to knock it down because it's too much loft. So for lots of golfers, asking why you have the loft you have and making sure it sinks into your ideas of what you're trying to achieve with your swing is a great way of developing and going forwards. If you're not doing this, for me, as a coach, it's a question I used to always ask my students. Why have you got that loft on that club? I don't know, it's just the best one that came out for me in a test. I agree, it probably was, but in that test, if you're not monitoring where you're striking it on the face, angles of attack, face the paths, are you not just building a club that's never going to allow you to develop? Post comments down below. Let me know what you think. Does this make sense or not? Is it something you feel you've fallen foul to or not? Remember, I'm using one club here and getting very different results. It's not a different shaft and a different head. But also, this is where a loft that's changeable for some golfers allows them to do what I've done there, which is develop with their clubs a little bit. So I'm not having to trade this in. I'm just changing the loft to experiment with different angles of attack. In all coaching, loft affects so much. General pattern with lots of golfers, people do not hit their wedges with the same deliveries that they hit their driver. The reason being, because of loft. Don't get sold, get better.